I just want to tell you who I am, what I do. First off, I am a 1P mom. My son Josh is now 20 years old, so I've been doing this for a little while. I am also a special needs parenting coach, and I'll go into more about what that is and what I do to help special needs parents. I'm a yoga and meditation teacher, and I am also a podcaster. I have a podcast called So This Is Holland with Donna Sandoval. She's also a 1P mom. So it is a unapologetic look into special needs parenting. We're very raw and open in the podcast, so it's fun. I wanted to speak a little bit about how I became a special needs parenting coach. And I'm not gonna lie, I could possibly cry when I talk about this because it is still trauma for me. My son Josh was seizure-free for 11 years. And I'm already getting emotional. But Joshua one day woke up having a grand mal seizure. It lasted 20 minutes. We got him into the hospital. And after 4 days at the hospital, I begged them to please do an x-ray on him. And Joshua, when we finally got the x-ray, he had broken both of his hips. So the grand mal seizure was so powerful that his hips broke. So once he got surgery, we had to wait another 2 days before they operated on him. And once he got surgery, I finally fell asleep after days of no sleep, and I woke up 15 minutes later, and my heart rate was crazy, and I'm like, what is going on? And so I hit the nurse call button because I knew something was wrong. And by the time they got there, I was on the floor. I could not walk. I could not talk. I could not raise my hands over my head. They were checking for a stroke. I could not smile. They had to call a rapid response code to get me out of his room. So this is why I do what I do. What was happening is I had been in fight and flight mode for so long that my system crashed when it finally rested. And my body didn't know what to do. It didn't know how to function. And when they came to get me, I finally found my voice because I had to fight for Josh still because he was going to be alone. So I gave the nurse my phone and I said, please call this person and have them come with him. And that person never showed up for Josh. So I realized, right? That's what I said too. But I realized that something in my life had to change because if I couldn't heal myself, if I couldn't get this under control, I was gonna break and my child was gonna be left with nobody. So that started my journey. My first step was I became a yoga teacher. And the first thing I said when they asked me, why are you in a yoga teacher training? I said, I never want another special needs parent to go through what I just went through. And that kind of became my mission. So I started teaching classes, I started doing some workshops for special needs parents, and then COVID hit. And I thought, what do I do now? So I went back to school and I became a certified life, health, transformational coach, and I work specifically with special needs parents who are dealing with burnout, and then I also have an empowerment program that is the next step. So when you've learned how to deal with burnout, how do you really thrive as a parent and learn how to make yourself a priority? Because that is what we forget to do. How many here never make themselves a priority? Raise your hand. Right? There's a lot of you that don't make yourself a priority. How many here would like to take a little bit of a break? How many here thinks you can't take a break? Yeah? A lot of you. I'm here to tell you, like I said, Josh didn't have anybody to come to the hospital with him. We have no family that lives near us. I am a single mom, and I know how to take breaks. So I'm here to tell you it is possible, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, one of the things I did when I started deciding how I wanted to help special needs parents is I did a survey just for myself. And some of you I talked to, about a year and a half ago, I started surveying all sorts of special needs parents. And what I found out, I was a little surprised, is how many people are in burnout and how it actually has affected their lives. So what I discovered is from birth to 10, many of parents that have more of the more impacted severely disabled children start to put your walls up, right? Because you feel like your kids are being stared at, your family's not there, you have nobody. So to protect yourself, you start building these walls, and you're like, I just got my family, we're good, that's all we need, we only need each other. Does that sound familiar? So with that, from 11 to 14, you started seeing the parents start struggling, where they were talking about, I need a break. I don't know what to do, because they built all these walls and they don't know how to bring them down. And then the most shocking thing that I discovered was, by the age of 15, 97% of the moms that I talked to, at that time I had polled 144 of them, 97% of the moms were diagnosed with or suspected of having an autoimmune disease. So I am now teamed up with 2 doctors at UNC, and we are actually trying, I actually on my website have a link that if you guys want to fill it out, and you have all the information in front of you to take that survey. I'm working with 2 doctors at UNC to get this published in a medical journal. We really want to make this mainstream and start taking care of the parents too, because it is so vital that we stay on top of ourselves and that we learn how to take care of ourselves. So I'm going to tell you how you can start to take care of yourselves. Step 1 is you need to set a goal. You need to figure out something that you like. It could be something like work or a hobby that you enjoy, going to yoga once a week. It doesn't have to be a big goal, but you need to set a goal, and you need to find a way to make that happen. When I did yoga teacher training, I didn't know how I was going to do it. One of our 1P moms back here, you were at my class when I started yoga teacher training. But I didn't know how I was going to do it. But I was so determined to heal myself that I found a way. So there's always a way. It's just sometimes we need to think outside of the box. And sometimes we need somebody that can kind of talk to us so they can help us think outside of that box to figure out how to start taking care of ourselves. It could look like doing a workout video in your house. Some of you have seen my videos of Joshua. I'll be working out in the house, and Josh will be on top of me, in my face, but I've taken 30 minutes to say, this is my time, you're okay, you're safe, it's time for me to do something. So set a goal. Like I said, baby steps. Your goals, just baby step goals. Let me make sure I'm covering everything. So with the goals, 5 years ago when I found myself on the floor of that hospital room and they had called that rapid response code, I thought I was dying. And now 5 years later, like I've told you, I've gone back to school, I own my own business, I'm still a single mom, but it took 5 years to get me here, right? It took 5 years. So when you set a goal, don't get discouraged. It takes time, it really does. And I know this doesn't relate to all of you because some of you actually have a really great support system, Santana's, but you guys are doing you have a good support system, you have help. Some of you don't. So our situations are all different, but I know every single one of you have sacrificed time for your kids because you felt guilty. They're going to be okay sometimes if you step away. They're going to be okay if you set them up where you can see them and you still take care of yourself. So you really do need to make time for yourself, focus on yourself just a little bit. One thing that I love to do, and anybody that knows me hears me talk about this a lot, I love meditation. So this is goal 2. There's a little more to it. I know a lot of you are like, I can't meditate. You guys can meditate, I promise. Meditation can be 2 seconds long. You just close your eyes, you just focus on your breath, and just come back to your centering. You don't have to cross your legs on the ground and chant Om. You can actually just do the dishes and just kind of space out and take some breaths. That's meditation, guys. Mantras. I love mantras, and the reason I do is because mantras are like the I am statements. I am awesome. I am a rock star. I am smart. Saying these things into your life actually does cause positivity in your life. Sometimes it sounds silly. I tell my clients to actually dance them, like, I am a rock star, right? And they're like, I can't do that. But once they start doing it, they start laughing, and with it becomes a habit for them. So you start adding like these mantras into your life. That creates the positivity. You work on your breathing, and if you guys like, I can do some breath work with you today. So some of the breath work I want to talk to you about. First, we're going to talk about that Om that you hear. A lot of people get freaked out by that if you go into a yoga class and somebody's like, Om. Let me tell you the benefit of doing that. The benefit of Om is when you get into that focus, it actually puts vibration through your body. So you don't have to make that noise, but if you make these noises, the vibration actually calms your nervous system and helps the inflammation in your body settle. So if you want to make noises, it doesn't have to be Om, but anything that kind of brings vibration to your body will actually calm your nervous system. So one of the breath works that I like to do is very simple, and I tell people you can do it in your shower, you can do it doing dishes, just walking around the house. It's called a 5-5-7 breath. I usually tell people to start with 4-4-6 because when you first start breathing, sometimes it's a little difficult to like hold your breath. So all a 4-4-6 is you breathe in to the count of 4, you hold to the count of 4, and you breathe out to the count of 6. And if you do that about 10 times a day, 5 times in a row, it will start to reduce your anxiety. It does not happen at once. So if you're in an anxiety attack and you're working on that breath, it's not going to immediately calm you down, but if you make it a practice, it absolutely will help. Meditation, mantras, breathing, those things will help. So another breath you can do, and I'm telling you some weird breaths because I want you guys to remember them. So another breath you can do is called a cooling breath. So all you do is breathe in, and then you breathe out like you're breathing through a straw. So if any of you are like me, when I have anxiety attacks, I actually get really hot. Like my back gets hot, my arms get hot, and that will cool you down in that moment. So if you just practice that breath, it will cool you down. And then journaling. Journaling is another great way. So with the meditations, the mantras, the breath work, journaling would be that next step with all of that. After you meditate, often if you actually sit down and really do a meditation practice, I like to do blind journaling. And what I mean by that is after I meditate, I just take a piece of paper and I just write. And I'll tell you what, it sounds like it won't work. You don't think about what you're writing, and when you look down, you realize some of the things that you're stressing about. So that's step 2. Step 3, and I won't go too far into this, but is move your body. We need exercise in our life. And I know some of you hate exercise. So go for a walk. Move your body at least 30 minutes a day. Again, this is going to reduce your anxiety. It's going to reduce your stress. You have to move. It doesn't have to be a really active sport, but find something that you enjoy. I mean, here in North Carolina, we have gorgeous walking trails. So find something that you enjoy. Find something that makes your heart happy. I always tell people that I am the yoga teacher that absolutely hates yoga. I hate yoga, but I love the stretch that I get from it. And after I have a yoga practice and I lay down in Shavasana, which is like a resting pose in yoga, I feel so much peace. So find something that you like. Roller skating's coming back in. I'd like to see some of you guys on some skates. Find a support group. How many of you feel energized with being here this weekend? Right? Let me see your hands. Who's happy to be here? It feels good to be with people that get it, right? We need that. We need people in our world that get it. Sometimes people don't understand our lives. And they can't. They've never been in our shoes. They have no idea what we experience. So find a support group. Find a local support group. Find a support group online. Or if you can't find one, start one. People need them. They don't take much time. I've started them before. All you got to do is start a Facebook group and say, hey guys, I'm starting a support group. People will find you. I promise you, people will find you. So start a support group. Now, I did add a couple topics because this weekend, a lot of you have come up to me asking me questions. So I've added some topics that you guys have asked me, and I hope that I can answer some of them the way that you guys need me to answer them. So several of you have told me that you're struggling with looking at other children. Your children aren't doing the same as somebody else's child is doing, and that's causing stress. It's causing you sadness. But what you need to remember is our kids are not the same. Our kids are not going to do anything the same. We don't do anything the same. So don't compare your children. You have to remember everything that you do. And this is important for you to remind yourself on a daily basis. Everything you do for your kids, everything you do for your family, are you giving them the best chance to reach their fullest potential? Are you doing what you can do in your power? Are you here seeking out information to learn more, to help your children more? Then just remember, you guys, you're rock stars. You're doing amazing, and you guys should all give yourself a hand. I mean, honestly. You guys are all so incredible. I mean, like I said, I've been at this for 20 years, and some of the newer parents, I'm amazed by you. I've learned things from some of the newer parents, things that I didn't know, devices that I didn't know I could get for Joshua. We can learn from each other, but our kids aren't the same. So let's stop comparing them and just know we're doing the best we can, and our kids are doing great. They're exactly where they're supposed to be at this time. 5, this one, I have a Facebook group called the Special Moms World, and it's got quite a few members in that group. And this upsets people when I bring this up. So 5, speak up. We want people to help us, right? We get mad when people don't help us. I get mad when people don't help us, like Josh and I. Speak up. I know you think you're complaining. You're not complaining. If you need help, speak up. Tell somebody, I'm struggling, I need help. And I know that help's not always going to be there, but people aren't going to be able to help you. Your family, your friends, they're not going to be able to help you unless you speak up. And once you speak up, if they say we can't help you, find your people. There are people all around you that will love your child, will love your family, and will be there for you. Speak up. Start to make your own people if your family and friends aren't there for you. I know we have a lot of grandparents and aunts and uncles and everybody here today, and you guys are amazing. And this was a big one I heard from you guys, living up to others' expectations. So people have all sorts of ideas of what type of parent you should be, what's wrong with your kid. If you just did this, they wouldn't have this disability. How many of you have heard that? Right? Stop listening to that nonsense. That is another way of bringing negativity in your life. Who cares what other people think of you? If other people have issues with you or how you raise your child, it's not about you, it's about them. It's about how they perceive things. It has nothing to do with you. And most of the people that are giving you this advice know nothing about your life. So when people start talking, start working on that breath work. Start really focusing on those mantras. What is good about you? You're hearing all this negativity about you. Start telling yourself what's good about you. Start telling yourself what you're doing, how great you are, how happy your kid is. Start talking all the positivity. I know it's kind of circling back to all the positivity, but start talking about that. Remind yourself, and this is constant with this, continue to remind yourself where you have come. Where were you when you got the diagnosis, and where are you right now? I mean, some of the people here that are newer parents, talk to the older parents. It's a different ball game. It's completely different. We're not as scared. I mean, we do get scared, don't get me wrong. I mean, our kids are our life, right? But start talking to the older parents. You're going to realize you're just starting. You're in chapter 1, right? So don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 7. Don't listen to the negativity. Now, what I do, there is a difference between what I do in counseling. I am not a counselor. I'm a coach. And what coaches do, coaches actually just help you set your goals and help you move towards them. Help you release some of that stress. We don't unbox the deep, dark secrets of your life. So that's what coaching is. That's what I do with parents. And like I said, I have 2 programs. One is called Managing Caregiver Burnout, and I used to call it Overcoming Caregiver Burnout. But you know what? We're never going to overcome this, guys. We're always going to have seasons that are going to be hard, but we can't live there. We have to move forward. So managing caregiver burnout is a first step, and the steps that I've just given you is a really good start. If you add these to your daily practices, this is going to be very helpful in your life. And then the next is the empowerment movement, and what that is, it is a program that once you've managed that burnout, like I said earlier, it helps you step into that next phase of life. Once that guilt is calmed down, like how can you make your life better? How can you have more money coming into your house? How can you have more time for yourself? How can you have a night out with your friends, right? I mean, because some of us don't do that. And I'm not going to lie, I'm really, really bad at that. I am standing up here talking to you, and I still have not had a girls' weekend in 20 years. So it is something I'm working on, so I'm kind of telling you what to do when I'm not doing that myself. Now, I do have, if you look into your folders, there's a little index card that says your name and email. If you guys want to fill that out, right on the back table here, you'll see Michelle Finn Coaching. If you put that in, I actually have a drawing that I'm going to do. You would definitely go into my email list, but I'm going to draw. I have a 1P bracelet, a 1P necklace, and this is called a Damn It doll. Another 1P mom sent one of these to me when Josh was in the hospital. And what this is when you get mad, you just bang it on the wall, you bang it on the table, you let all that aggression out by beating this little doll up. So if you guys want to be entered into the drawings, just go ahead and put that in the bucket back there, and I will let you guys know tomorrow. I'll pull the names. Do you guys have any questions for me? No questions. I'm feeling the love, guys. Come on. That was good. You got it?
If no questions, at least right now, that actually is kind of a segue into where we're headed next. Michelle, thank you so much.